Hi guys, and welcome to the Hurtful Truth podcast, episode 4 now. I got Teodor. I think I said it right. It's kind of hard because it's a little different. It's spelled without the H. So, where are you from, man?
I'm from Croatia. It's kind of like Eastern Europe. It's like ex-Yugoslavia, you know. Have you
Oh
heard
yeah,
about Yugoslavia?
just a little bit. Yeah, I'm not as
Eh, eh,
I'm not as
Ex-Yugoslavia.
familiar with European places, but I plan to go out there soon. So, really, the way that I found him was under a podcast. Someone was talking and I saw him comment a funny comment that ended up making me think like, all right, I need to talk to this guy because we're on the same mindset. And so then I see some of his tweets, and his tweets were incredible. So I just thought it would be a really good conversation to get you on here, man. uh Really, I don't know much about you. I just know that you definitely know what you're talking about. So I just wanted to ask, I guess, what's your reason why people should listen to you? Tell the people who you are. You said where you're from. What's your story, man?
Oh, well, that's a nice question. I like the why should people listen to me? Well, I don't want to start on a kind of dark note, but it's unfortunate, and I have always have to bring this up. It's like it's become kind of repetitive, but I kind of my story started when I was a kid, and well, my father killed himself basically. And what happened is I fell into depression. As I was younger, when I was 11 or 12, my father killed himself. Then, as I was 15 or 16, I found the truth about the, let's say, the Matrix, the
Mm-hmm.
Illuminati, which only deepened the sadness, you know, and the whole depression, trauma, everything like that. But I avoided it till like I was 24, which was 2 or 3 years ago. And then once the circus started with the coronavirus, 2020, I found out like, okay, I'm depressed, I'm fucked up. This is mental illness, and I'm not in the right space. I need to heal this, or I'm going to, I'm going to live a healthful life, like a bad life, chaotic life,
Yeah.
destructive life. So then I was like thinking, I don't have a lot of money for a good psychiatrist, and I don't want to pop pills.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to heal myself, you know, to go through this journey on my own. And this is where I learned a lot of things about life, about healing oneself, and about my purpose and who really I am. And that's what I want to give to people as well. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful thing. How did you start? How did you make your money throughout that time?
Throughout my younger years, you mean?
Just to get to where you are in general.
Aha. Well, mostly like side works or working around. I'm from Zagreb, right? It's like Croatia, although it's from Yugoslavia. We're like we have roads and buildings and
Uh-huh.
everything, you know. It's like it's like not a village. I live in like a city with a million people.
Uh-huh.
Although small, we have opportunities here for making money. But now I'm focused on coaching,
Coaching?
which is kind of my purpose, right? Because that's the only thing I want to do right now, except having a family and be free. I want to help people heal themselves. You know, a lot of people are going through what I'm going through and what I have been through, and I want to help them uh, throughout this transition.
I respect that a lot. Actually, I relate to you a lot. My brother passed away when I was 14. I always have to bring it up because it's a big part of my life. And then it's kind of what shaped me. And I was also 14. You said you were like, how old were you?
Yeah, 12.
12, so around the same time. And it's a little
Yes.
different, but at the same time, it had the same kind of effect, I feel like. just in some type of way. You learn to value people. You learn to value life around you and understand that nothing's permanent, and things that people that you think are going to be there forever will not be there forever. So that's something that it taught me. And I really like the fact that you do coaching. Could you explain to the people a little more about what you coach people with, and then how they can get in contact with you?
Well, I coach. Well, first of all, yeah. I'm sorry about. Sorry about it, but I cannot be so. It's fate, but yeah. A lot of people. It's kind of like the times right now are kind of that transformative. When me and you and me, and a lot of different people have gone through this traumatic experience before, like in, let's say, 2010. And now in 2020, this, when coronavirus hit and the lockdowns happened, this like caused trauma all over the world, awakening. But we're here to serve, like, kind of, you have awakened, I reckon, like, when your brother passed away, I reckon that's when it started. So it's kind of interesting that we're like in the same place hanging out with such a similar past. What I do in coaching, well, we basically, and it's kind of like life coaching, but I try to give us my sort of spin on it with my experiences and how I see life. But mostly it's we go through coaching, we kind of try to find the underlying reasons why we want to do something, why we want to transform, why this happened, why that happened, and then we try to find your answers. Basically, my coaching revolves around not giving people answers. Mostly, sometimes I do tell some advice, but mostly it's about asking another human. It's kind of like I view it like bringing wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're wise, you can figure out a problem for yourself. Like, you can figure out a solution for yourself, and that's what I would try to do for other people. And we set goals. We try to, like, be more aware of our problems, be wise, and set goals and accountability and all that. You can find me on Twitter, Teodor Zrinski. Message me and all that.
Yes, and I'll put his in the description as well. But I saw that you talked about depression on your Twitter, and I agreed with you 100%, and then you just kind of brought it up earlier, so you want to just dive into that now, since you said I think it was about there's no such thing as depression in a way, it's just only sadness. I'm assuming that's kind of what you were saying. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, nice. Are you? This is your belief. Do you agree with it?
I do.
I was writing just like 30 minutes ago. I was writing like a book about an ebook about depression, and I remember one podcast. I didn't watch the whole podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, but I watched some little clip of it. Some Asian guy with blonde hair and kind of tan. He's a photographer, and he went into Africa in some kind of, it's not even a village, it's kind of people living in nature. It's kind of tribal, right? Where they hunt baboons and everything. Like, their life revolves around waking up, hunting for food, or women gather food, men hunt for food, and then they bring the food, they eat, they celebrate, dance, and they go back to sleep. That's how he described it. Like, he takes photos of people, videos, I don't know. He's like that, travels around the world, and photos of indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked them, like, they had a sort of opportunity, the tribal people, to go to America, so people get to know them, and they would earn a lot of money, they will have opportunities, everything like that. And they said no, like, cold, like, instantly, no, why would we go there? Like, I don't want to go there. And the reasoning was, like, why would I go to a place where people kill themselves for nothing? Where people jump from the buildings to end their life. It didn't even make sense to them. Like, they don't have the term depression. They don't have it. It's non-existent. They don't have in their tribe. They don't have a person who kills themselves.
Wow.
I mean, of course, I reckon they have sadness when someone dies. I'm sure they're sad, but they don't have depression. So their main reasoning was like, I mean, I don't have car, I don't have clothes, or I'm not fancy, but man, I'm like, I'm just eating, hunting for food and celebrating, dancing, and that's all I need. Like, and that's life for them, right? So that goes like back to that question, like depression and sadness. Okay, for sure we have mental illnesses and depression here in like developed societies, but I mean it's kind of, yeah, I think it's kind of fleeting feeling, honestly, that we stick to it. But honestly, I think this story itself tells answers.
Yeah, so like basically what I get out of that is that there's no such a thing as depression. I mean, it's kind of what I said earlier too. It's just like there's no such thing as depression. It's just sadness. There's no clinical depression that's uncurable. There's depression of feeling depressed, but there's not like, because I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. It's just that we can't use that as an excuse or like, oh, I have a chemical imbalance when you aren't even doing the basics.
Mm.
You're not even doing the fundamentals. I knew someone that was vaping, doing dabs constantly, like weed dabs. I knew someone that same person was drinking like every day, doing all these things like every single day. And she's telling me she has a chemical imbalance and she's depressed. And I'm like, you don't even do the most basic human needs, which is not doing that. First of all, I mean, to be healthy, you need to be healthy. If you're going to be healthy minded, healthy body, you're going to be happier overall. And also, I feel like my take on it is it's all about mindset, it's all about perspective. I could be going through the worst thing and I'd still come out because of my mindset. And then you look at Andrew Tate, who went to jail for 3 months in a tiny little box, like a tiny box. He barely had any room. It was like the size of a little bathroom. And he's in the dark. And he came out looking like a beast, man. He came out looking like a beast, and he's fine. He's perfectly fine because he has the iron mind. And that's what it's about. It's about perspective. And the way that I view life is you gotta reframe the way you look at things. Instead of thinking you should be happy from these temporary things like, oh, I need to hit this vape or I need to drink this alcohol. You should be thinking, I'm going to be happy from progressing towards what I want in life. And that's what I decided. I'm only happy when I'm progressing. It's like a video game. So why not just only get my happiness from that progression? And now your life is much better. Absolutely got to curate everything in your life, your surroundings, your food, your speech. See, I'm writing a book too. It's called How to Hack Your Mind. So
nice.
That's the pinned tweet in on my Twitter, which the people that know my Twitter, they know, but I don't promote it on the pod. So it's kind of like if you know, you know. But go ahead. What are your thoughts on all that? And yeah, go ahead.
Well, I had like with Andrew Tate, you said the Iron Mind. I heard I was listening to some course. I forgot the name, or Optimize Yourself or something like that. But he mentioned like, you know, the first Harry Potter movie. It's called the Philosopher's Stone, and it's like this kind of relic.
Sorcerer's Stone, I think. Sorcerer's Stone, I think.
Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah. Sorcerer, but it's kind of like okay, but he drew a mention on that. But basically, what the guy said in the course was like the philosopher's power is that he's able to turn any negative into a positive. And I think that's what Andrew Tate's power is as well. Like he's able to turn anything they throw at him. he turns it to positive. Like
Yep.
they try to cancel him, it only made him bigger. They tried to jail him. Like I think now that he was jailed and in that tiny cell, that he like found some kind of another level of peace and faith, and not only him but Tristan Tate as well. As Tristan Tate was kind of like annotate a bit more into like Muslim way of life, like religion, discipline, God, and everything like that. Spiritual, more spiritual, let's say. But now I think also as Tristan went through that jail progress, I think he also grew in that spiritual sense. So I think that's the Tristan Tate's power, both of them. Like the more they throw them, the more obstacles they have, the more they eat it, and the more they grew stronger. And I think that's one of the keys behind this kind of like what we're talking about, depression and progression. It's like the more obstacles you go through, the more you grow. Like the more you grow, the bigger you are.
Yeah, absorbing all the power. They used to talk about that too. They used to talk about that too. They would joking about kind of. They always relate their life to movies and books and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I was gonna say, like, whenever my brother passed away, I had that power already, I guess, because I was able to see that. See, I was raised very Christian whenever I was growing up, so I already believed in God, and I was younger too, so I had a very heavy faith in God, and I still do, but just not the same. I don't look at it exactly the same way, but definitely when it happened, I was thinking, how is this gonna bring good into my life someday? Like, that's how I looked at it. Instead of, I hate you, God, I hate life, I hate everything. Instead of all that, it's like, that's not productive. And to me, everything comes down to what's productive. So for me, it's like, the most productive thing is to be positive and understand the positives that come out of it. Obviously, you're going to be sad through trauma in some type of way, most likely. But if you can reframe things in some way to serve you, sometimes viewing it as negative can serve you a little bit, as long as it's propelling you forward. You know, I saw Andrew Tate's email whenever he was released. The first thing he sent out, he talks about how he eventually, after a long time, they let him watch one movie, and he chose Shawshank Redemption. That's what it was. And you've seen that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so Shawshank Redemption, he talks about how his hope made him feel more miserable when he was in prison, but it also drove him to get out of prison. So he was like, the people that had accepted the reality, and he compared this to like what we call the Matrix, which is just the fabricated life they've built around you with propaganda and all these different things. He compares it to the same thing. It's like he had hope that he would get out, and that made him upset and didn't make him happy, but he knew it was necessary, because then he ended up making calls. He ended up getting out. Same way in Shawshank Redemption, it's like, spoiler alert, he gets out. And he's very he had hope the whole time, so it made him so miserable inside, but it ended up making his life better. And he was talking about how people that live in these societies, these systems, they don't believe they can escape. And the fact that they don't believe that they can escape is exactly why they accept everything around them, and then they defend it. Just like in the movie The Matrix, he talks about they fight to defend the system that controls them. So it's a crazy thing, man. It's a good topic. So what do you have to say about that?
I love the way he uses his emotions I love how he manipulates his mind. Like, if he uses, he gets some negative emotion, right? He gets depressed, right? Then he's stuck in jail, but then he uses that to change his situation. that emotion is not holding him back but pushing him forward, and it's like he uses that negative emotion for as coal, let's say, as fuel. So yeah, I admire that. I think that's something I can definitely work on, and it's something like although like Tate is something special, but there's a kind of problem with Tate. It's like I don't know. Have you heard about the book Vladimir Zelensky? Fucking.
I
Give
probably
me a
don't know.
second. Like, okay, I'll explain like this. You have like a pendulum that swings, right? You have left and right side. You have the you have let's say you follow NBA
Just
or
a little
something
bit,
like
a
that.
little bit.
Okay, you have the I don't know the LA Lakers and you have the LA Clippers, and they hate each other, right? And you have the fans on one side and fans on the other side, like, and the fans on one side push against the others, and then the other side pushes against the others. It's like atheism and religion. It's like Muslims and Catholics.
That's
It's
actually
like
why that's like the yin yang symbol that I use a lot, and I'm gonna tat that is because it's two opposing forces, but it creates balance. Is that kind of where you're going with it?
yeah, it's well, it's certainly a symbolism, like two opposing forces against each other. But the guy, that Russian guy, I forgot the book, but it's a must read. Transporting or something like that. It's kind of like a
We can
mystic book, but it makes sense.
we can find it after this, and maybe I'll like link it or something.
Link it for sure. It's a must read. He basically explains, and this Tate mentioned this in similar terms. It's what you give energy to.
Yep.
And this pendulum, this let's say politics, left and right, atheist and religion, this takes away your energy. It has to take away your energy to function. For this to swing from left to right, it has to have people behind it that pushes this, right?
Yep.
Without it, it will stay still. Without it, it won't exist. Something like that. Let's say.
That's crazy. Yeah. Go ahead.
And like another reference is like politicians. The politician in New York, the how do you say, the main the gradonačelnik of the
president,
let's say,
or the mayor.
Let's say the president. The Biden of United States has a lot more power than president of Croatia, which is, I don't know, Milanovic. Is his name, but he has much more power, and it's because well, not only because of people. That's why I wanted to use the cities. But the president of New York, let's say the president, I forgot the name.
It's called a mayor.
The mayor.
Yeah.
The mayor of New York has so much power than the mayor of, I don't know, give me some small town in Alabama.
I don't know Alabama, but I'm in OKC, Oklahoma. So.
OKC. Yeah, he has so much power because he has so much people under him, because New York has, I don't know, 20 million people inside it, and that bring money, that bring energy inside it, which creates money, which creates everything else. Well, basically, what I'm trying to say is the mayor of New York would be much weaker if there would be living 2 million people in New York. So that energy is like that pendulum would that's kind of a problem with Tate. It's kind of a pendulum, like Tate against the matrix, right? And the problem is, if you speak, I appreciate Tate, and I learned a lot from Tate, and I think that Tate is positive power in the world. Yeah. But if you speak about Tate, it swallows you up, this pendulum, and you become like, it's hard to find your own voice, right? You get swollen into that field. And this is an amazing, it's actually amazing how he was able to do this. How like Tate, like...
He got people thinking about him, is that what you're saying? You got people talking about him.
It's amazing how he created this field. Like no one now is bigger than Tate. No Kenya, no, maybe Putin, but like no one is as electrifying as Tate. Something like Napoleon in its own time.
And it's international, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. I knew everybody knows Tate. And he swallows one, and he came from like as hard as the background as one can get from. But this was why I don't. This was my thought process of why I don't like. But this is my opinion, right, and my mindset. So maybe it's not true. But why I don't like speak about it in tweets, so it doesn't that his energy doesn't swallow me up and takes away what I want to express to the world.
Why do you think it swallows you up? And how does it take away from your message whenever you do bring him up?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, because for me...
What takes away?
That's why I ask you, because for me, I believe it's just his message in general is kind of the same as ours. As far as I know. Like, as far as I can tell from you, it's kind of the same. And I don't feel like he would take anything away from us, you know, just bringing him up. It's only if we made our entire brand around Tate that we would be swallowed up by Tate. It's just that his message is so true, man. Like, that's why I spoke highly of him. I actually had, there was a New York Post article that came out, and it was about me. And I stood up for Tate because, I don't know, some guy reached out to me through Twitter, got my information, we talked, and then he did kind of like a hit piece on me and Andrew Tate after we just had a normal conversation about it, and whatever. But you know, I ended up, it came back to me at my job that I used to work, the 9 to 5, and some girls found out. They found out that I was on a podcast, or someone was talking about me on a podcast, at least. Two girls were talking shit about me because I was in that New York Post article. And it came back to my job, and this girl tried to get me fired and everything. And I didn't care. I stood up for Tate because the thing is, man, I knew he was innocent. I knew this guy is a good person because of the amount of free knowledge he gave out. I'm pretty sure he had even leaked on purpose some of his old Hustlers University stuff, like that Iron Mind thing you were talking about. I'm pretty sure he leaked that on purpose. So he gave that away for free because he knew he was making a new course. It's like, how could someone that's giving that much free wisdom, that's already he's a billionaire, really. He's a billionaire. Especially considering he has everything he'll ever need. He's fine. He didn't have to even do this. But I respect him to a high level for that. And I could tell based on his friends, just watching his friends on YouTube, Jay Waller, shout out Jay Waller. There's Sterling. There's so many people that are just really good people, like Fresh and Fit, you know, Myron and Fresh. They are really good people, and you can see it in their content that they actually want to help, even if it gets controversial. And you might not agree with everything they say. I don't agree with every single thing anyone says. Like, I don't care who it is. It doesn't mean I can't like see their overall standing and what they stand for and agree with that overall, you know. I agree with that's why I decided to start talking to people in that group of people, like people around them. Start just following them at least. And it led me to meeting a lot of people that actually know some people around him. And that's how I got to where I am today, is just because you decide the circle you want to put yourself in. That's basically where I'm going with this.
Yes.
You decide what circle do you want to aim for at least. And if you just aim for it, at least you'll be closer to it. you know?
Yeah, of course. I know, like every time I say something, I go into a different route.
No,
But I
it's
wanted to
not.
mention,
I
like,
like to talk about different things, so it's just organic. Go ahead, man.
it's connection. It's connected. But there's a Twitter profile of a girl, like she's a witch, basically. But she talked about like some souls. In how you're not like only you, but you're like a part of everyone around you,
Hmm.
the people you hang out with. So it kind of ties back with who you hang out with. It's who you become. It's kind of like you get a part of their soul and they get a part of you.
I agree.
Unfortunately, that account is I don't I used to speak to her. She had her own like group and everything on Discord, and she was active. She had like 10K. Now she's like around 11 or 13K, but she stopped tweeting. She stopped everything. I think she died. I don't know. Because online, we met online, like we talked online, but she did some crazy shit. I'll do this. We talked in private messages. I probably shouldn't say this, but I mean, she's probably dead. So,
Rest in
uh,
peace.
probably I don't know. Because I reckon she was like in Amsterdam, or if you have taken the vaccine, there's a higher chance that you die. And in this modern in Croatia, we didn't take so much, like 50%, I think took the vaccine, but much more in the Western world. People have injected them with that bullshit. But okay, um, yeah, she said like she spoke to the spirit of Alistair Crowley. She managed to somehow. I can bring up the Discord. Let me give me a second.
Go ahead.
No, I can't bring that. Shit, I deleted that chat. But somehow she summoned the spirit of Alistair Crowley to talk to her. So maybe that's what got her killed. I don't know. But as well, like many of the mystics. First off, I want to clarify that I would fuck with Alistair Crowley. But many of the many of the mystic people, especially Aleister Crowley and people like that, have gotten a bad rep. And shamans and witches and everything like that. They've gotten a bad rep because of the past, like Catholic and everything like that, burnouts and everything. Like the burning witches and the the modernization of the world, the church, especially the Catholic Church in like the 15th, 16th century, killed a lot of them, and even before. But I mean, I honestly believe, and I have spoke to many witches, and that there's like good people, good good mystic people. I don't know, good witches, let's say, and bad witches, good shamans and bad shamans. But I don't know if there's bad shamans, but to clarify, I don't know where. But I was studying shamans. Can I go in that
Go ahead.
direction? I was studying shamans, like as I was dealing with this depression, and I was reading the books about shamans. There's a lot of white people, civilization people, that went into that kind of tribal life, Mexico, blah blah blah, where they have like real shamans that do all sorts of nasty stuff, not mystic stuff, not nasty. And this is, I think, another turning point that needs to like happen with dealing with depression. And I love their approach about it. It's like the shamans say, when something hurtful happens to you, it could be either the emotional, when you lose someone, it could be physical, when you break something, or it can be mental. I forgot the example for that. But when some painful experience happens, they say that your soul kind of splits apart to survive the impact. And see it as going cold after something. Like I remember as I went cold when my father divorced my mother, and this is when it kicked in. And then when he killed himself, that's when the that coldness happened. And I believe that's that split, that happened. And they say that to recover, you have to heal the parts together and remedy them. And it is said, like there's many sessions where they, like the shaman go, when the shaman helps, the shaman goes into trance, and he goes like into different worlds, and he like gets back the soul of that missing part to the human back. But I don't think like that. And another part that I've read, yeah, the same Japanese Asian guy with the blonde hair that we talked before.
Yeah, on Joe Rogan's podcast.
On Joe Rogan's podcast, I think it was him that he witnessed. I think it was him that he witnessed like those shaman healing sessions, where shaman goes back. I don't know. A guy comes with a sickness or something, and the guy, it's a whole ceremony. A guy's shaman goes into how do you say trance state. He comes back and he finds the solution, and he gives the solution and he cures the fella. And another thing, I know I'm talking long, but this is a movie you must see. It's called A Horse Boy. It's about autistic little kid around 5-6 years old. He can't function. The parents tried everything. One parent, mother is a therapist, highly decorated, and another father is he deals with horses, right? And they tried everything, diet, every bullshit there is, not bullshit, everything that exists in Western world, they tried it. And then the father, and it didn't work. And then the father came to an idea, like the boy loves horses. That's the only thing. Oh, sorry. The boy loves horses, and that's the only thing that he can do, actually. The rest is like he's, retarded. He cannot do anything. He's unfunctionable. So the father came to an idea. Okay, I'm gonna go to Mongolia. They have horses there, and they have shamans. And he himself, when he traveled the world as he was young, he himself had like the Japanese, like the Asian guy. He was in the events where the shaman, the healing trances events, right? That I was talking about right now. And they went to Mongolia to try to cure the kid. And in the end, they went through many shamans, and in the end, they found the most tribal shaman who lives like alone with his wife or something. And you can see this is like last 10 minutes of the movie. The kid who usually like doesn't like people and like avoided, he would scream when shamans came to him. He befriended the shaman, and like you can see, they were sitting around the bonfire, everything like that in the circle, 6 and 7 of them, and the cameraman filmed. They documented the whole journey. This is a documentary, A Horse Boy. And the shaman was sitting, and the boy was in his lap. They were playing, having fun. And then out of nowhere, this was the boy's head, right? And boy was sitting in his lap, and the shaman's hand, let's say this is his hand, he was pulling something from this. He was doing this kind of motion. He was pulling from his head and releasing like this. Pulling from his head and releasing like this, right? And he did it a couple of times. And the guy with the video recorder, the filmographer, right? He filmed. He zoomed in on this unnoticeably, like no one did anything, and you can see like calmly. I recommend you watch this. After this has been done, he did it for a couple of times. He said to the parents, after you leave, he was on some kind of a hill or a mountain. After you leave the hill, the main negative effects of this sickness will pass. Then throughout the years, all the negative side effects will go one by one. But the biggest ones will go right now after you go after you go back. When you leave the hill, that's when the change is gonna happen. And and it was as he said. They leave the hill and everything changed. The boy, and that's after that, the boy had first shit experience. The boy couldn't go alone on the toilet, right? He was a 7-year-old, 8-year-old boy. I don't know. He couldn't shit by himself, and it was a great deal for their mother and their father to make him go to toilet. And then after that, he managed to take a shit by himself, alone like this. And then after that, they show it through experience. The boy learned to how to ride a horse alone. You are basically, it was as he said, the negative effects removed. He is still like a bit autistic. You can see he's not normal, but he's able to function in society as normal people do.
Mhm.
And they film themselves. You can actually find them on YouTube. The boys speaking. You can follow their journey.
Wow.
So the shaman was able to cure them of the negative.
That's crazy.
Crazy. You have it all on YouTube for free.
And what was it called again?
Horse Boy.
Horse Boy.
Yeah, Horse Boy.
That's crazy. And on that topic of trauma, I saw one of your tweets. You said trauma creates genius. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I absolutely. As I'm writing a book about it, I try to use GPT to help me. And I wrote okay, trauma, mental illness creates geniuses. And the liberal GPT started shitting. Oh, we don't know about that. I cannot have an opinion and everything like that.
Oh, so it's biased against that too? That's weird.
It's biased, but things are slowly changing. The mushrooms are used are slowly getting started to use to treat trauma patients, which is also one thing that helped me, which I can get to, but I wanted to say about trauma creates geniuses. Like Nikola Tesla, I mean, he's famous right now, right? Everybody knows about Nikola Tesla, probably one of the greatest geniuses. To me, I think Nikola Tesla is better at higher echelon than Newton, Einstein, and all those fellas.
I agree with you. I agree.
Have you heard about Schauberger, Victor Schauberger? Oh man, he's a genius on his own. You gotta. I don't know. I think Nikola Tesla and Victor Schauberger are the two most if we were to pay them to do their stuff, we would be aliens right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's one of the. I don't want to talk about Victor Schauberger because it's too complex, but crazy. But Nikola Tesla, yeah, trauma, crazy geniuses, right? Nikola Tesla witnessed his brother Dejan, I think his name is, death in front of his eyes when he was 5 or 6 years old. And after that, he said that he was getting really sick. He was always sick on the bed lying, and he said after the death, after he witnessed his brother's death, which was obviously a huge trauma, he started seeing in the air flame tongues, you see, and somehow flame. I don't fucking know, but he started seeing visions, and he said he said himself. Well, I didn't hear him say, but I read on the internet that this experience made him a mystic. And it is known that he could walk on the street, and in the light he would see the idea for an engine, for a creation that would rock the world. And he said, I think I read somewhere that he said he believed that his brother Dean would send him these ideas. And it was all. I also read that he thinks his brother and his mother were much more talented than Tesla. They had much more potential than Tesla.
Wow.
which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it makes sense that he believes that his brother sent him these ideas through life. But this is all mysticism, and this is all weird.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of examples. I created a thread on Twitter. There's a lot of examples. Like there's a photographer who was a salesperson, and I forgot his name, but he was an American. I forgot May something. Forgot the name. Doyle something. The guy who created like pictures of horses.
Okay.
He was a salesperson, a marketing guy. He never had a thing for arts. Never creative, never nothing. Then he went like to travel to Texas, and he with a chariot. This was like 18th century or something, and the chariot broke, and he flew and hit with his head. He hit a tree, and he had like not only a concussion. This was a serious. So yeah, he hit his head. He had like serious mental concussion. I don't mind serious health issues, and after he hit his head, like change happened. He dropped his sales knowledge, marketing, and everything like that, and he started to um, do creative stuff, photography and everything. And we know him like he's one of the most famous. I don't know. He made many inventions for photographs. You may find him easily on internet. And many like there's many people like that. One guy, a surgeon, was struck by a thunder, and then he came to his brother, to his friend's house. His friend was a musician. He had a piano. He came to his friend's house after the thunder had struck him. He started playing piano for like 6 or 8 hours, non-stop, and he knew everything, while never previously known to play piano.
Wow.
So this is crazy.
Yeah, that is insane.
There's many examples for that.
There's so many people that are geniuses have gone through some type of trauma, but I feel like most people do go through trauma, but I don't know, maybe there's some people might somehow get it through their life like to 20 years old and not have any crazy traumatic experience. But yeah, the biggest geniuses usually did go through something horrible. Yeah. So I saw one of your tweets. I think it was a tweet, or maybe it wasn't a tweet from you. I think I was just kind of reading stuff, and I thought about it. I wanted to ask you: do you think you should keep things private until it's permanent when it comes to maybe success? Like, let's say you succeeded in some area, would you keep it private until it's set in stone and it's happening, or would you talk about it?
Well, honestly, yeah, I think it goes person to person. Like they say, like there's many ways to the top of the mountain.
Yep.
So to me, I mean, well, it's like it's a paradox question. I think it's from a person to person. I think there's a lot of benefits into expressing yourself, even if it's not permanent, because the social media, the expressing yourself, and then you have consuming. Like it's much better to be a creator, to express yourself, than to consume content, because basically you're feeding yourself without pouring out. It's like and then it comes to a stalemate. Let's say you fill up your glass, let's say. I think it should be as you feel yourself, you have to also give. And this is one thing that helped me with also dealing with sadness, depression, and everything like that, is kind of and knowledge in general. Because as I express myself, I can like release things that I hold up, and then I can look at it, I can learn from it, I can see mistakes in it, and the more I see mistakes in it, the more I can improve myself. Mm-hmm. And the more the like understanding grows. So I would say, should you keep it permanent? It's up to you. That would be my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that you could still express it to people. Like, it's just kind of the thing that a lot of these successful people will be saying, or not even just successful people, but people in like maybe the money Twitter area. They'll always be like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about your success until till you've already succeeded. Don't talk about it at all, even after you're like, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad to express it to some people. Obviously, I kind of agree. Sometimes you should keep it to yourself until you got it really going for you. But it's good to tell a few friends, get their opinion. But you gotta be careful who you're telling and who's around you. A lot of people don't want you to win. A lot of people, it's not even about that they don't want you to win at all. It's about they don't want you to win more than they win.
Yeah,
So,
true.
what do you think about partying? Just
About partying.
yeah.
Nice question. I love it. Well, honestly, I was first like before, kind of as I'm healing this depression, I was like cutting off everything, no this, no that, no partying, stupid, and all that. But first of all, I again, I mean, okay, I will go the pussy route, and I'll say like it's your choice again. Many ways to the top of the mountain. It's kind of pussy escape by me, but for now, I'm thinking like I have a new way of looking at it. First of all, I would cut off everything like in the past to heal this depression, but now I have a kind of a different mindset. Kind of like going with the flow. It's kind of like
Stoicism in a way.
it's kind of like I mean, there's definitely stoicism in life, and I think everyone should. The stoicism, I think, is one huge part of. I think should be of every being. But I think like when someone is my brother has a new girl, like a newborn, a girl, the past week, and there was like we had a party, and there was like harmonica. The the musical instrument that collects and that spreads accordion.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
There was accordion. I don't know why my video is shutting down, but alright. There was accordion, right? And I mean, I wanted to sing, so I sang, right? Is when I'm on the party, like we celebrated. I finished like college. Me and my friends, like in July, let's say, last year, and then we had like a celebration, and then I danced. Like when I want to dance, I dance. When I want to sing, I sing. When I see like someone on the street playing a guitar, I want to listen to it. Like why would I sit in the room and be still, be disciplined, be stoic? I mean, I love music, I love dancing. My new approach is I don't know how to explain, but go with the flow. If I want to sing, I'll sing. If I want to dance, I'll dance. If I want to party, I'll party. But of course, it cannot be too chaotic. I mean, I'm not telling you go take heroin or something like that, or drink every day. I think it's okay. If you want to drink, I think it's okay. Go ahead and drink, but make sure it's not because of pain. Make sure it's not because of escape. If it's a party, and make sure it's not like every week, or depends on your life and your like objectives and your family, if you have children and everything like that. You go with the flow, and I don't know, just try not to use it as an escape, I would say.
What's something that you indulge in that's good?
Well, exercise is always great, like boxing. I would recommend fighting to anybody.
That's crazy because I actually wrote down fighting as one of the things to talk about. So why do you think that fighting is so beneficial?
Because it makes you less of a pussy. It kind of yeah. I mean,
It's true. It's true.
when you know you can defend yourself, when you can throw a punch, but when you know it, gym is something different. Gym, you get big, but you don't really know if you can fight until you step into the ring. You don't know. So when you know you can fight, it's kind of like you walk differently at night. I was this was one of the fighting helped me with depression as well. With this, all this, I don't want to say depression again, but with in growing myself, right? With improving myself and becoming more of a man. Because before, when I didn't know how to fight, when I didn't go that fighting route, I would go out and I would like at night, and I would be afraid of everyone. Like even when I would debate someone, I would always hold in my mind, okay, don't insult him, don't provoke him, he can beat you up. Like always that kind of
Yeah.
pussy switch, you know. And then when I know how to fight, when I know how to defend myself, I can be more honest to others. I can express myself honestly, because even if I know my honesty will offend someone, I know okay if I can go, you know, I can defend myself even if I offend someone. It's more like and being honest with yourself. Like it helps you be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And what
like
do you
that.
think?
I want to get into boxing. I've been wanting to get into boxing for a while. And I want to also learn jujitsu. That's something I'm interested in. Using other people's momentum against them. Because then if it doesn't matter how big you are or how big they are, it's about how you use it. But I definitely want to start with boxing. How'd you get into boxing?
Well, I got in the boxing, but I went into MMA. My biggest love is MMA, honestly, because I believe that I mean it's stupid like to use only fists while you have your own body. It's kind of to me okay. Boxing is a sport, but this is kind of the whole thing. While boxing is only one segment. But I was on MMA and I hurt my because we were doing so many throws, wrestling and all that. I hurt my elbow and I had to pause. And I was thinking like, okay, what can I do that's also fighting that I like? I like stand up in MMA. I like mostly stand up. I don't like jiu-jitsu. Wrestling is good, but stand up is fun to me at least.
Hmm.
And as I hurt my elbow, I went into boxing. But I guess you asked me like how I get into the fighting game.
Yeah.
Let's say. I mean, have you heard about Carl Jung?
Mm-mm.
Carl Jung is like with Freud. He's like the father of psychology.
Yeah,
Let's say.
Sigmund Freud, his brother.
Carl
Oh,
Jung is like they used to work together in the beginning.
oh, okay.
Something like that. I don't. I'm something like that. Well, he's like they call him the modern shaman, and he speaks about this shadow that we have, like this dark, this other side of us that's dark that we hide from the world. You know how humans can like. I mean, everybody has the ability to kill. You have the ability to mutilate anybody. You can. A switch can turn out. You can go tomorrow and kill a child with your bare hands. You have the ability. Like you have that side of you that can kill anybody. You have that side of you. And he talks about how we actually we hate that we hide that shadow. I call it the animal side of us. I view it like that. Like we have that animal side of us that can like the cat. You know, the cat corners a mouse and it tortures a mouse. Like it tortures for its fun. It doesn't even eat the mouse, but it tortures and kills it.
Wow.
And we don't call it demonic or anything. It's just in its nature, right? So it's kind of like in our nature too. That shadow side, but unfortunately that animal side that we kill the especially men, the aggression, the everything, you know, the ability to kill. But we run away from it. The society kind of stuffs it. The religion, everything around us, like religion, society, school, our family, movies especially. Like you know this, they do it to Tate too, right? Like they call it toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
That's basically like ties in with masculinity. It's kind of like we hide it, we run away from it, but if we hide it for too long, something blows up, and then it can rage on and destroy, like if something happens. And I think that's a lot of school shootings happen like that. People pent up that animal energy, people fuck with them, they pent it up until it blows up, and then bah, 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 and the guy kills like 20 people like this.
So you say that in order to keep yourself level and not doing some crazy shit, it's you got to get that out somehow, and you're saying that's why you fight.
Well, that's one of the reasons. Another reason is it's kind of like a part of us. So it's kind of, if you want to be whole, if you want to be healed, and if you want to be a normal and a happy man, you have to integrate it. You have to make it a part of yourself. So that's why I go fighting, because it's kind of where my animal. It's kind of integration.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get into it.
It's not easy, but once you start, it's addictive.
Yeah, it's not easy, but nothing in life that's actually worth it is easy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Choose your hard, because everything's difficult. It's hard to be a fucking loser. It's hard to be a winner. So why would I want to live a hard life and just be a loser? That's exactly why I do things differently and I go for my dreams, because I'd rather it be a hard life worth living than a hard life not worth living at all, you know?
Yeah, that's a perfect mindset.
Other than that, actually, the toxic masculinity. Yeah, the toxic masculinity thing. It's true. They call it toxic. They call everything that's good about the masculinity. Most of the time, they call it toxic. I think it's more like we should be talking about toxic not even femininity, but yeah, toxic femininity. Whenever it's a man, if it's a man being really feminine, and it's all right, like there's some gay people that are feminine, it's cool, it's not a big deal. But whenever it's like most of the population of guys, especially here where I'm at in the West, a lot of them are so feminine that actually the women are more masculine. They're more masculine than the men. So I wanted to talk about that dynamic, which is funny because I was going to bring that up too, so that kind of goes perfectly with it. But they call it toxic just to be a man, like a true man, and even though that's what protects the women and protects the gay guys that are feminine, it's the masculine men. So what do you have to say about that?
The society weakened the man so they can get to women.
Yep.
And now, like, what's happening? The destruction of women. Like in like Western society, it's shunned upon that a woman has like 7 or 8 kids, especially white women. And if you say, I mean, I'll add the color to it because it's true. If you look at the Europe right now, most of the white families have like 3 dogs and maybe 1 to 2 children. Like most families have like 2 dogs and no children, which is fucking ridiculous, right? And less and less white people are being born. Like it's like there is a danger of extinction of a white race.
Really?
Yes, because there's like there's more white people adopt animals. They don't born children because they're programmed to believe that children are I don't know, like annoying. Children are bad. Well, I have 2 nieces, and like I say, Irina is the first niece that has been born, and it has transformed our family completely. Our children transforms, and I have learned so much from kids. It's amazing. The kids are amazing.
Yeah, they're so open-minded, man.
Yeah, they're incredible, really. I mean, it's kind of like they only draw. Yeah, and also the society is kind of makes it hard to pay the bills, and they have 7 children. Muslim families have no problem with having 7 children. Okay, 3, at least 3 children or 5 children. You see, and you can make this about race or not, but I speak facts. You can Google this. And what I wanted to say, and how did they do it? Weaken the man, make him a pussy, make him female, so he doesn't protect the women, which is the true treasure. I say that women is a river and the man is the banks that guide it. Women is the painting, the man is the frame. You understand? Without the strong fame, the chaos goes all over. And this is what happens. The chaos is all over the Western world. And that's why it, unfortunately, Western world is due for destruction. It's good that men went to the feminine side. For the femininity holds the wisdom, I believe. The feminine is intuition, and I believe that feminine have the natural connection with God, and men have to seek it, while women already have it. And I think when men dive into this femininity, they learn this stuff, intuition and everything, the hard things, the universe, the philosophy. But in order for men to become their true self, they need to come back to their masculine self. If you're born in a man body, your primary energy is masculine. If you're born in a female body, your primary energy is feminine. So, okay, go into the feminine, but make sure you come back to the masculine. You can actually use this as fuel. You know, and I think, and this is not only my opinion, this is like in philosophy and everything, and like many of the greats, like even Jesus, they say Jesus and everything like that, say it's the connection between the feminine and masculine that creates an actualized man. You know, and Bruce Lee said, like his trainer Ip Man said, more yin and yang. I think yin is feminine. Like as he told him to fighting, he said more yin, less yang. But okay, this is for fighting. But again, he used the two principles. So you need the both to become actualized.
I was gonna bring up the yin yang for that exact thing. So very true.
What did you for yin and yang?
Yeah, for yin and yang, that's exactly what I was gonna bring up before you even said it. Is like, I know I said it earlier too, but when it comes to men and women, it's needed for a balance of, yeah, like you said, the feminine, they have certain intuition, and now I'm still spiritual even if I don't kind of tap into really feminine energy or anything, but at the same time, it's like having a feminine woman it's just amazing. It's complementary. It's men need the feminine women in life, and then women need a masculine man. It's like how we all, both stay grounded in our own ways. It's crazy because they've convinced women that they can be this strong protector and I'll feed the family and I'll protect the family, and I'm like, no. Watch a guy come over that didn't even work out that much. He still will beat your ass most likely, because just biologically the way we're built. And it's just crazy to me because they've convinced women that they could be empowered, you know. But really they're supposed to be the nurturers of society, and the guys are supposed to do what they do best. It's because it's kind of like, you've ever played NBA 2K, right?
Yes.
Okay, so on 2K, each build has a certain maximum skill levels they can reach. That's kind of how it is. It's like guys, they have a more maximum strength, maximum this, maximum that, and then women have a certain maximum over here, like in a different area. They have a higher maximum they can reach. But whenever they've convinced women that they're supposed to build these other stats and they can reach the same amount as the guy, they're capped right there, and they think that they're up here. They're not. Then they've convinced the guys to do the exact same thing, do the opposite. So the guys aren't maximizing their true potential. They're doing the one down here. They can only hit up to this amount of feminine energy, you know, the feminine stuff. So it's just, that's how I view it. Is they've lowered the potential of all of society, or not even the potential, because the potential is still there, but more like they've convinced them to not maximize their true potential. It's kind of insane. And I see it with my own eyes living here. That like I said, most of the women are very masculine. I didn't understand this stuff until Kevin Samuels came along talking about it, and then Andrew Tate. Yeah, bro, he's from here, bro. He's from yeah, bro.
Nice, man.
Yes. Rest in peace, the legend, Kevin Samuels, man. I want everyone to know his name. So I brought him up on the last pod too. He's a legend, man. I was watching him, and I planned to get him on this pod. And then he passed away, man. And he would literally come here regularly, so I probably would have ended up getting in touch with him and meeting him.
Yeah,
You know, whenever he
Hurtful.
died, it left room for Andrew Tate to pop off because everyone was looking for the next thing that would, like, the guys were, now that they had been open-minded to, like, damn, masculine and feminine stuff, like all this, some of these guys were looking for that guy. I mean, actually, most everyone's always looking for that guy, and that's why I'm doing this podcast too, because, and just saying the truth, because there's guys out there that need to hear this or want to hear this, and they feel trapped in their little fabricated society. This fabricated,
in their prison.
Yeah, their prison, exactly. They're all in these little boxes, and they need to hear someone that's not afraid to say it. Like, I used to be that guy. I used to be that guy that would, like, yeah, to my friends, maybe I would be more free speech kind of. But whenever you're out there, you don't want to offend the wrong person. You want to be politically correct. So, like, it was dangerous because you would lose your job or something like that. And then you realize, man, there's so many people that don't think like that. And there's actually a lot of people that agree with you. So whenever people watch mine, yeah, I might offend a lot of people, but there's plenty of people that have been like, yes, finally someone said it. You know, that's how I feel. And it just is liberating. It's like freeing. You realize you're not alone. And that's why I wasn't afraid to say I stood up for Tate, because I knew there was so many guys that I meet regularly that actually love him and, like, genuinely their lives have been changed by Andrew Tate. So I didn't care. And the reason why they want you to hate him is because he spreads a good message. And it's actually the truth. And then you start looking at I keep mentioning this. If you look up on TikTok, Andrew Tate guilty, it's like a bunch of stuff, right? But if you look up Andrew Tate innocent, they wiped it. There's nothing there. So that, you know, anything that the media is trying to portray most of the time, well, all the time, it's really gonna feed the agenda of the people that own it, which are the people that run the world, and they have the most money. So why wouldn't they make things set up in a way that it's going to serve their agenda? They need people like slaves. They need y'all to do just workers. They just need workers. They want bosses, but bosses find their way to be a boss anyway. You know, I'm going to find my way, and I did, to get out of that lifestyle. So that's how it is. They're trying to train everyone. That's why they have school. You go to school to learn how to work and learn how to work without asking why. Which I just said this in the last podcast, but it's so true. What do you think about all that? What do you have to say?
Well, I just wanted to say about it. As you said, there is a matrix, and it's on, like, it's not only on people, I believe. I mean, not only but it is spoken in, like, Quran, Bible, I think. Even my mentor, the guy, I mean, he's my mentor, but I never saw him. The guy is like a mystic that is in Serbia, lives in mountains, has ghosts and everything. He says it's like entities. They feed on our energy, right? Parasites, and they feed on our energy, right? And when you're, like, in the matrix, when you're worrying, even which it kind of connects with the pendulum. I don't know how.
Pendulum, yeah, pendulum.
He explained it like, you know, football stadiums. He said it, but this is mystic shit. I don't know if this is correct, but to me it makes sense. They say it like it's in a circle. They make the football stadiums in circle, and the people cheer, and they, like, loud, and they give all their energy to it.
Oh yeah.
Later, if you're been after the game, you're all like, how to say, kind of at peace. You thrown away all the energy. You're kind of like level, right? And he said, like, these entities go beyond the stadium. They use the stadiums to feed themselves with this energy, right? And it's this football stadiums allow connections to drown people's energy, and this is how they eat, I guess. And there's, like, a lot of I think also in the this is Vedic learnings, but I think also in Muslim books, Quran, they talk about the parasites that connect with the, let's say, the 7 deadly sins. You know, alcohol, consumption, too much consumption, sloth, you know the sins. And it's like
Greed.
Greed.
It's lust, gluttony, greed, laziness, wrath, envy, and pride.
And pride. Okay. And you have this like, let me take one of them. One of them, I don't know English, that the word, but where you overconsume.
Yeah, that's gluttony.
Food.
Gluttony.
Gluttony. Yeah, sorry, gluttony. You know, when you drink too much, how do you feel tomorrow? You feel like you're dead. You're trying to revive yourself so you can go back to work, go back to the regular. How do you feel after you smoke weed? Tomorrow you're dead with energy. How do you feel after you overconsume with food? You can fucking move. And you want to sleep, right? Especially with sugar. How do you feel with added sugar? You want to sleep. With chocolate and everything, it goes like this, then it goes like this. Your energy levels, they first shoot you up, yes, and then you go like this. It's tied up with parasites. You know, this they take away your energy, like they feed on you. I mean, also alcohol hurts your body, but as well you like energy, right? It hurts your body, but you feel less energetic, right? And it's those parasites. And when you cut them off, when you cut alcohol off, you feel more energetic, and that's as you cut off energy, parasite. So the one thing I wanted to talk about is, yeah, there is this force in the world, let's call them evil, that like these are these parasites that feed on people. This is that matrix system, you know. You go through school, you go to a job, you go to school, you teach shit you don't need. How much stress are those tests that you take? How much? So even if you go to college, when you go to college, some people, I personally have nightmares about the middle school, the test I had to take and everything. I had nightmares that, and this helps you get over that stress. You know, how much do you feel stressed in, when the first school, the middle school, then at college? Then you go through, and first of all, you learn shit here that doesn't make you money. Nothing here makes you money.
Yeah, it never makes you money, bro.
But it never makes you money. It never makes you free, and it causes such stress that you have nightmares from it, right? And it wastes 20 fucking years of your life, 8 hours a day. Okay, 6 in the beginning, then later 8. 8 hours a day, 20 years. You don't have any sort of skill. Give me 20 years to learn any sort of skill, 6 hours a day, I'll be a fucking magician. Then you go work a job you don't like, under a boss you hate, and that pays you lower.
And then you should have... Again, you're taught not to ask why. You're taught not to ask why you do anything. That's... You're like, you just do it. You just do what they tell you to do. And then that's... When I went to college too, so it's just that, like that, you know?
Yeah, you never ask why. You just do it. Then you go through marriage, you brew some kids, and then you die. Like, and you have like 20 days a year free, and you never ask why, right? You just go through it. So yeah, that's that system we're talking about, that matrix. They want you in that process of you're just a slave. You're a robot, basically. You're a slave, and then they feed off of you while you have a miserable life. But fortunately, you know how you said, like, many people don't have that trauma, you know, don't go through the trauma that you and me went through. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, now with Corona and lockdowns and everything like that, with this whole circus and enslavement, everyone went through trauma. Everyone. Trauma awakes people. Depression awakes people. I believe that personally, and I believe that's why we're here. That's why we're here. And now the whole world is awakened. Have you seen? I just seen today the French. You see the French. The French are a little bit crazy. We have to give the French their respect. The people call the French the pussies. But first of all, who are the first who revolt? The French. Oh, and the Serbians. Okay. the Serbians are the first who revolted in the lockdowns, but in true history, the French are the first who revolt. So they're not pussies. They, the BlackRock and Vanguard, the biggest two companies that rule everything, like 90% of world wealth is under BlackRock and Vanguard. Today, I saw the video. I can share with you on Twitter. The video is like the French protesters went into BlackRock building in France, and they were like they're chanting fire everywhere, burning stuff up and wilding, right? So the people have connected the dots. We finally understand as a species the BlackRock and Vanguard. We're not targeting the politicians. We are starting to target that fucking
the people that own it, the people that own the politicians, because the politicians are puppets.
Yeah, the politicians are puppets.
Crazy.
So yeah, everything is going good.
Everything's going good.
Yeah, people are awakening,
It is amazing.
I wanted to ask you like so special, like in what are you like in what topic or like in what knowledge or in what area of life are you dwelling in right now?
Mostly in sales. I'm in sales, so like high ticket sales.
Nice.
But I do a lot of things, but that's one of the main things. It's just sales because it makes money, man. Sales goes into all of life. I'm already pretty good, but I'm only gonna get better. On top of that, obviously, just talking on the podcast, just networking, talking to the right people. So you're one of the right people to me. That's why you're here.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the. I'm really. I'm always happy when when I'm talking to like-minded individuals, and especially when I'm invited to a podcast or a like-minded individual. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like it's. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. I think you were looking for the word. I think you were looking for the word grateful. I assume, just so you know.
Yeah. I'm really grateful for that we had this talk, man.
Yeah, man.
It was really fun.
I'm grateful you came on. I appreciate it.
Nice, man. Okay, can we stop with the gay stuff?
Yeah.
I'm joking. But I learned. I wanted to ask you this. You talked about yin and yang, and you talked about Tate's transformation into negative emotion to fuel. Like, what's kind of an insight that you have received? Could it be in sales, could be in life, could be in yin and yang, everything. That you're like, oh, this is gold.
Man, the high ticket sales thing about how sales is life, that changed everything for me. And then here's the biggest new insight though. I was working at a 9-to-5, and I decided. Well, I realized. I mean, just talking to millionaires, like even on the podcast, I realized they think bigger. They just think bigger, and you think that you think big, even if you have big dreams. I've always known that I'm gonna achieve all my dreams, and I did think big, and I do think big. But talking to them, I realized they think bigger at certain things like money. All right, if you can sell something that's like $20, $50, what makes you think you can't sell something that's $2,000? Because you think it's a lot of money, right? They don't think it's a lot of money. These people do not think that that's a lot of money at all. I realized talking to especially Garrett Campbell on my podcast, the second episode, very, very, very smart, amazing salesman, high ticket sales. And he's talking about how he would be at masterminds with big, you know what those are, like those courses, different. Yes. Yeah, he would go to these mastermind courses with like really big people, such as the one he went to right after. I'm sure now he can talk about it because he tweeted about it. Right after he did my podcast, it was like 2 days later, he went to the Alex Hormozy mastermind, and he's talking on my podcast about how he would be at different masterminds and they would make all this money. These people make a lot of money. And he would be bragging about how, yeah, I made like, we're making like 50, 80 a month right now. And the guy's like, oh, nice. And then he's like, what? And the guy's like, Oh yeah, we're starting to pick up right now. We're hitting about 900, 950K a month. And he's like, "Oh shit." And so that's one of the clips that I made a video of it. I clipped it. But definitely
Nice.
that's one of the biggest moments that it made me realize like, all right. And not even just that, listening to Luke Belmar, he's one of my favorite creators. I meant to bring him up earlier. Luke Belmar is one of the he knows Andrew and all their people.
I know.
Yeah. He's
I
so
know
smart.
Hurtful.
He opened my mind a lot in a lot of ways, in just certain places, which I already had an open mind, but like I said, they think bigger about money because I didn't have a lot of money when I was working at a wage job. Kind of realized that, damn, I'm being capped at a certain amount that I can even make. Now, I realized it a long time ago, but it was a stepping stone, of course. But I realized that I already have skills that are marketable. The only reason why I wasn't free was because I was putting all that time towards that job. When I could quit and just go hard and actually grow wings on the way down. Because you have to. Look at Andrew Tate. He was in a desperate position and he was like 60 grand in debt. He still figured out a way. So whenever you realize, I just got to think bigger. I got to think bigger about money and realize that there's so many people that are willing to spend a lot of money for a service that's actually worth it. So figure out how you can build a service or a product that's worth a lot of money. And then you go to the people that actually have the money and go at least in the areas where they would be at and offer it and figure out how am I going to offer something to them and get them to actually listen to me. All right. Then Garrett talks about it like it's one of the best podcasts ever. He talks about how you just got to bring something to the table immediately. Like, don't ask them what they need. Bring something to them.
Do you think the you know the retarded and the pussy and all the words that has been said throughout this podcast? Do you think this could ban you?
No. And
Okay.
if it did, I don't care. We'll go to Rumble. Everyone follow Hurtful Truth with the X instead of the U on Rumble. And we're gonna be fine, man. I don't care if we get canceled. I feel like unless they ban me like very early somehow, people are gonna find us anyway, and they're gonna find us anyway. Especially if we got banned, people are gonna look at what we were talking about. Why did they get banned? Like, well, we're on Rumble now, so I post all these videos on Rumble too. So everyone should follow there just in case something goes bad. But we also do some live spaces now, which I should have done that on this one, but I'm doing that for the first time next week.
Nice.
We're gonna start doing live spaces on top of this, like at the same time, so they can hear us.
On Twitter as well. On,
yeah, and then they can ask questions.
Audience.
Yeah, and then they can ask questions, and I do
That would be fun.
spaces regularly.
Whenever when everything is wild, we started cursing and everything. So go with the flow.
Yeah, man. I feel like I'm not scared because someone has to say this stuff.
Yeah, someone has to say it.
I really feel like I said, people are itching for that. They're itching for that someone to say it. So I'm not scared to say it, and I'm in a position where I don't have to be scared to say it because I don't work at a regular job. I do a lot of different things, but I don't want to go into it too much. But basically, I figured out that you can offer services and find certain types of jobs that are freeing.
Free from the ban.
Especially sales jobs, with not the traditional sales job that people think of either. You don't have to work at a job where they tell you when to do what all the time. Now, there might be certain things you got to get done by the end of the day or something.
Okay,
I feel like
you're free.
Yeah, and once you realize you can, like I said earlier, once you realize you can make $20 online from something, then why couldn't you sell something for even more that's actually worth it? Now, maybe you don't have the skill to sell something that high, or maybe you aren't thinking big enough because there's always something that's worth more than you think. Why can't you find someone else's product to affiliate that's expensive? It's so many ways to make money. And my favorite thing, I'll probably say this all the time. Andrew Tate said it and Luke Belmar said it. It's money is water, so stand in the right place and you're bound to get wet.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor.
It's all positioning. It's like chess.
Do you play chess?
I'm not amazing at it, but I play it a little bit. And I definitely understand how it's just like life.
Yeah.
Just like it. And actually, there's a video game that reminds me of chess to me, but it's like completely different. But just the premise of positioning, and you have to be very strategic. It's a game called Rainbow Six Siege, if you've ever heard of that.
I heard of it.
It's a really, really good game because whenever you die in the game, you don't respawn. You have to wait till the round ends.
Yeah.
It's very strategic. You have to position yourself where you have no exposed parts, like so there's no one could come up to your left or something, you know, stuff like that. It's just like chess to me because it's a defense position and then there's an attack position, and so it switches every other round or something like that.
It's something like Call of Search and Destroy Call of Duty.
Yeah, except even more like
even more tactical and
yeah, and also more realistic because it has walls that could break. I mean, there's certain things that are less realistic about it, but at the same time, it's like definitely more realistic in the way that it works. Yeah, so I love that game. I don't really play video games much, but definitely that I used to play it all the time. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you know the saying like art imitates life.
Yeah.
So basically, games
That's very true. That's very true. One more thing I was gonna say. You brought up the positive and negative energy and how it feeds different people and different entities, and I brought this up on the last one as well. Freddy Krueger. You've ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street?
I didn't see the movie, but I know the plot. I understand. He goes into the dream, right?
Yeah. So he goes into your dreams or your nightmares, really, and he'll kill you, and then it kills you in your real life, or what you would call the real life, I guess. It kills you everywhere because you gave it power, though. So that's the thing, is at the end of it, it's, and I'll say spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
No, I didn't watch it.
It's been out for years, man. All right, anyway, but I get it. You know, I don't want to spoil it for everyone. In the movie, he's killing them in the dream, and then it's fucking making them levitate and get cut up in real life, and then they're trying not to go to sleep. They're trying to stay awake. But obviously you can't stay awake forever. You're going to have to face it. It's kind of like a metaphor. And I just thought about all this. It's like a metaphor for life. You can't escape. If you can't escape it, you have to figure out how to control it. And the way that they controlled it was they stopped giving it attention, because attention is energy. Where attention flows, energy goes. Isn't that that's the saying. Yeah, basically, he starts to shrink. They stopped really caring. They were giving him fear. So it doesn't matter if it's positive energy, negative energy, the thing is going to thrive. That's why I understand this, and that's why I'm going to tell y'all all my real opinions. I don't care if you get mad or not. So you get mad, and then, okay, give me your negative energy. I'm going to absorb it just the same way, because it's not going to stop me. And that's how I view things. I don't give my energy to things that I don't want to grow. That's something that I critique to Andrew Tate. I feel like sometimes they give too much energy to negative people, or people that aren't helping society. They will be like, haram, this is haram, blah, blah, blah. Stop talking about what's haram. Start talking about what's, I think the word is halal. What's good. I don't know if that's the word, but
halal and haram, nice.
Stop talking about the bad things. Stop reposting them. Stop quote tweeting them. You're giving them attention. You're giving them the same way that you blew up. You're giving them that same type of audience platform. Yeah. Don't give them a platform. Give only good, positive forces in the world a platform, and you'll start to see more of that. That's my critique, and that's what I believe. So that's why, you know, I might still, every once in a while, have some times I'm complaining about a certain thing too, because it needs to be said. And it does need to be said. So I don't think that they are bad about it all the time, but I feel like sometimes they do give them too much energy.
Yeah, that's how we connected, right? That's it was
a podcast.
The guy, but the American guy.
Yeah, it was whatever podcast. So whatever podcast. Now I gotta say, as much as I kind of like it a little bit, and I wanted to talk to him on the pod someday, but I still feel like
let's not offend him.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like
fucking geek.
but he's copying Fresh and Fit. I'm just gonna be honest about it now. But Sterling did go on the podcast, so maybe he has some backing now towards like maybe they're friends or something. But I do feel like he needs to give credit to Fresh and Fit because they definitely started that. I will be honest, but
they definitely started the movement.
Yeah, you commented, why do you always have why do you always interview retards? And I was like, honestly, that's true. Like, that's what made us connect, because it felt like all of the women on there were just bad examples of women.
Yeah.
And kind of gets annoying almost.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, it's kind of fucking annoying. Like these bimbos, like don't have like salt in their head. Like they're like.
I know. That's exactly how they look too.
And then you like prove the points against them. Like I mean, it needs to be done, of course, so people could like you need to mock the autistic. That's the bullying part. You need to bully them a little bit, so we know. Okay, these people are, you know, kind of need to fix themselves. But I like that. You know the. Well, I don't watch the whatever podcast. I'm not a fan of podcasts. I'm being honest here.
Like watching podcasts.
I rarely. I watch like sometimes I do, but maybe on the weekend or something like that.
Those are my favorite thing to watch, bro. I watch constantly podcasts. I love them.
I can't honestly. I know like a lot of people love them, but to me, I can only like if I listen to them in between work, I can focus. I know like a lot of people can watch, listen, and work, but I don't. I can't.
Well, I don't do it while I work, really. Maybe while I'm working out or something, but.
This is like your fun time.
It
like
feeds my mind, you know. Instead of like some bullshit entertainment, I'll watch this. It's more, you know, real conversations.
It's
makes you think about stuff, you know.
Yeah, for sure it's healthier. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe I should involve that into my repertoire.
But I could always refer you to good ones, like the best ones to watch for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I watch a lot of comedy, like comedy and UFC. But I found like watching too much comedy makes you a bit retarded.
Yep.
Makes you a bit too much of a clown.
Yeah, man, it's not as much substance. Sometimes, unless they're joking about stuff that is making you think, such as Dave Chappelle or something like that. He does talk about pretty real stuff.
Yeah, but sometimes, but most of it is, I mean, it's a lot of it's philosophical, but again, too much of that's like clown energy, the jester energy. Too much of jester energy makes you a jester, not a king, which is something I'm trying to.
True.
Like I'm like furthering myself from it. I watch a lot of fighting. And the guy I watch, and I watch a lot of like mystic stuff. You know,
the shaman
it's
stuff.
Not. I mentioned like the Serbian guy. He has like it's not a podcast. He goes and talks into the camera or to the people like for an hour and a half or something like that. And some kind of and people like that. But it's not so much a podcast. But for certainly I should supposed to implement podcasts, change podcasts into from comedy into podcast for sure. Like some smart podcast, not something stupid. You know?
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
Comedy podcast to something smart. But what I wanted to say is about that Matt whatever guy. Well, we don't want to. We kind of shitted too much on him. I mean, we wanted his next guest. But you know when
he might be on here.
You know,
I'm not worried about it, bro. I'm not worried about it. Go ahead. You were saying what?
But to say something positive, like okay, he's bringing a lot of bimbos, like Fresh and Fit. But I have seen. I don't watch his podcasts, but I have seen the short videos, and he did bring like mothers, like healthy women,
Oh, that's good.
healthy feminine
It's
women.
just that they're only taking shorts of the dumbass bitches.
Yeah.
That's all I see. The short clips are like just dumb. Like, well, he'll prove them straight up wrong, and they'll go, like what?
You know, this offends me. How can you be so toxic masculinity? And they go insulting the man, you know.
It's so funny, bro. It's so funny because like he'll literally have straight facts, just like Fresh and Fit do, like straight real statistics. Like, I feel like that's not true. Well, okay. Well, you got statistics and you're telling me I feel this and I feel that. They always say I feel something. It's all about emotions with women, man.
Yeah, that's that chaotic side, you know, that feminine chaotic side where it's too loose, you know.
It's funny, man. They do kind of operate in in some fairy tales, and you just have to like, you could tell them the facts, but they already get what they want most all the time, and then they act like they're in a bad position in society, which I always call them out for because men are in a worse position. But like, okay, you know, women are in a position where they can get really most everything they want because a lot of the men are simps just doing anything for them anyway. And then even then, I mean, I've been kicked out of a club. I got kicked out of a club because a woman, two of my exes, were both there, and they lied about me, and I didn't even do anything, and they just trust the women. They always trust the women. Wow. And there was even a video SNEAKO had reacted to where...
Hey, shout out SNEAKO.
Yeah, shout out SNEAKO. Free SNEAKO. Get him back on YouTube, man. Anyway, he's gonna see this probably. So what's up, bro? Basically he reacted to this guy. I cannot remember his name. I think his name was like Loaf. I can't remember. Maybe I'm completely wrong. That would be funny. But there's this guy, he's like a 19, 20 something. He went to a Six Flags or something like that. And he was in line just kind of trolling people, messing around. Like I was here first. I was in this line. It was like a line for a kiddie ride. They have it all on video too. Like, then this blue-haired lady, you know, of course, it's like, she's like arguing with them, like, no, you weren't here first. We were here first. Like, blah blah blah. And that was fine. That wasn't a big deal. But then they walked away. They were just laughing there. It was no big deal. And they're just walking throughout the place, and then this cop comes up to them. This is all on video, and the cop's like, yeah, we were told you were sexually assaulting children. And like, they just trusted the woman and kicked their ass out. But they were gonna arrest them and everything. But since they had it on video, they were good. But imagine they didn't have it on video, just because women say something. And maybe you could argue, I'll give devil's advocate, you could argue maybe if a guy said that, they still would have done it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. America has a lot of opportunities, but I'm not envious one bit, man. You have to live with fucking horrendous shit. You have to walk on eggshell. I mean, what is this? This is crazy. I don't want to be too negative, but if we were in Japan in samurai age in 1500s, like, okay, cut the blue-haired chick's head with the fucking katana. But okay, I'm just...
Oh, shit.
But this is kind of venting, right?
No, for real, though. It's just like, that's fucked up. You could really screw someone's entire life up. Entire life. And then they're not even get in trouble. Like, even with... I know I keep bringing him up, but bro, Andrew Tate went to jail for 3 months.
Yeah,
for something he didn't even do.
He's still not free. He's still not free, man.
Yeah, he's on house arrest. He was there for 3 months with no evidence. They arrested him with no evidence, and then they were looking for evidence. They never found anything. And all it was a girl that got paid to say something.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't believe what frustration you are going through because in America, right? Because you're seeing this in life. I can see this like maybe when I'm Friday night when I'm in town, I see like some like blue hair, but it's kind of under the radar. There's not so many of them in Croatia. The
crazy.
I mean
Yeah. I know what
I
you're
don't
saying.
want to offend, but
It's not all
you
blue
know.
hair women, but it's mostly. I'm just saying. Of course, we call them that because that's most of the time the ones that are fake woke. You know, they're woke.
The woke people, the woke who couldn't be further from the woke movement.
Yeah, they're politically correct so much to the point where it's obvious they're just. I don't know. I don't even
It's
know what to say.
retarded. It's a retardation because they speak one thing and they do another. They
It's
speak about
hypocrisy. Yeah,
freedom.
it's
They
hypocrisy.
speak about freedom when you say only two genders and say why don't you recognize my nouns? Thankful to God I don't have to deal with this shit, but unfortunately I heard about this retardation.
At least I'm glad you
Why
know
don't you
about it
say
though.
they them? I had to know. They say they them. Why don't you respect my pronouns? But then, like, why don't you? It's not such a big deal. We're all free. But then, when you express your opinion, they crash you. They attack you.
They hate you having an opinion. Well, God forbid. God forbid I have my own view on everything. You know.
Yeah.
And then you know what
There
they
is my
call me.
freedom, yeah?
And you know what they call me? The same people. You're a cis white male. Your opinion doesn't matter. You get everything you want. I don't get everything I want just because I'm a normal, by the way, not cis, normal white male. I just find it funny. Like I always got pissed off about that, and I'll tell them straight to their face. You know, cis just means normal, man. I'm just straight. That's all that means.
Normal.
That's all that
Cis
means.
means normal.
And you know, I'm not
They
saying I'm a
buried
normal
this.
person. I'm not. No one's really that normal, but you know,
Yeah, no one's normal.
obviously, straight
But you're not
straight
retarded.
is what we were biologically meant to be.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, where is they have the freedom to choose their own gender. They have the freedom to push you into their own, like they them, how you should call them, their own grammar. They have the freedom to push you into their own grammar, but you don't have the freedom to say, to express yourself, which should be a normal human behavior if you're not hurting someone else, to express yourself. So, but I think the best way to deal with this sort of stuff is to not give attention at all, to mock them. I don't have the experience with it, so I don't know the best way to deal with it. But as we said, the pendulum, they get energy from the people, the woke people, they're on this side, and then you have us who push against this retardation. I mean, it's the fact. Sorry,
I love
but I think the best ways, and this guy, this Vasily, or this Russian, explains this pendulum as how to stop this movement is to step away and not give it energy. As you said, energy goes where attention flows.
Yeah, that's
Attention
exactly
flows
it.
where energy goes. Energy is currency.
Yep.
Right? So maybe like why it's like going into insane asylum and arguing with people on on meds, like who think that the moon is made out of cheese or something. It's you're throwing away the words against it's you're arguing against retards. But this is just my like thought process. I don't have experience in this. But you see, you're arguing against retards, so maybe it would be the best to stop off and not give the energy to those.
It's like
Yeah,
it's like negotiating with terrorists. They don't operate within logic, right? So why are you trying to put your logic on them? I mean, you can try, but I'm just saying like you should try. But if they just continually are not accepting your logic, and then they're operating within a figment of imagination, and they expect you to come into their figment of imagination, right over here, the little bubble, that they live in. They want you to go in the bubble too. What if I have my bubble over here? It's more
I
like
think,
universes. We have our own kind of
yeah,
philosophies on things, and I would love to talk to them with logic, but a lot of the time they don't accept it. So then you just have to back off, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, the best you said it, like they don't operate in the means of logic. They're not masculine enough. That's what it. They went too crazy.
Yeah, but they think they're masculine.
They think they're masculine. You know, the masculine and the feminine. I honestly don't believe, or not that I don't believe, but I don't use the terminologies alpha, beta, sigma.
Yeah, I don't use them that much. It's
Yeah,
not really important. But I do use dominant and submissive. So I think
yeah,
that's what it comes down to. Really, an alpha to me is just a dominant person. Beta is
yeah.
the submissive. Yeah.
As you said, like as it comes down to, it's basically masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
That's what like we can see on that's what you can see with your eye, like men and women. The masculine is like the brain, the logic, the frame, right? And the women is like the heart, the intuition, the chaos, the universe, that kind of operating outside of logic, that kind of universal. I think that those people, those woke people went a little bit too much. I don't know why I'm back at them, but maybe with consumption of drugs, because drugs bring out that femininity. And if we look at a lot of gay fellas, we can notice a drug pattern and partying pattern.
Interesting.
But also when we look at, but not only that, Roman. Okay, I dwelled maybe too much into one section, not only in that section, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of. I think honestly, there is in a woke movement, well, in everything, honestly, there is some sort of truth. And in the woke movement, there is some sort of truth. I think, I mean, we need change from that old pattern. People are going through a revolution. We are revolutionizing from the feudal age, from the, honestly, the Catholic Church held a lot of people, nature. They held like shamans, like village people. That side of the things, in my opinion, they held under lockdown. They killed a lot of them. They didn't let them operate. They didn't let them. I think this woke movement is hijacked a revolution from the matrix. We want the revolution from the system, the school, the job, the cubicle, but and this is some sort of revolution, but it is hijacked and led to a false end, to a pit, to our destruction by the people who rule the system. And I think that the new place, but this is also philosophical, that we need to arrive is to take that truth from the woke movement, that revolution, that to crush this, to escape this system somehow. I don't know how will that look like, but to guide the revolution the right way. But unfortunately, and this is what is happening with Andrew Tate. This is what's happening with Luke Belmar, who has, I mean, he has great communication skills. I don't know, communication skills is like how to lead people, and he has like
Yeah,
amazing
Luke Belmar is really and Andrew, both of them incredible at communication.
incredible and incredible. Luke Belmar, even SNEAKO, although SNEAKO has his mistakes.
Yes, of course. But we all, I think everyone
We
does.
all do.
Yeah, I think everyone does, and especially these people that video themselves the most. Yeah, you can look at them on video, and yeah, it's easy to point fun. But bro, if I videoed your whole life, you'd probably, and all the shit you said, all the dumb shit you said, you would. I'm talking to the audience. It's like there would be plenty of things to make fun of, man.
it's easy to mock. And I know, like, as SNEAKO is gonna watch this, and I'm a fan of SNEAKO, but Charlie kind of buried him, and it's good that he accepted his mistakes and he apologized. And I'll say this: I'll shit a bit on Charlie. But, well, Charlie is fair and all, but it's easy for Charlie to, the Charlie, the white t-shirt guy, the long hair.
With the long hair, yeah.
Yeah, the Charlie. It's easy for him to be the fan favorite, and it's easy for him to be the morally higher than SNEAKO, because Charlie doesn't get into this kind of stuff. He doesn't promote self-improvement. He doesn't shit against woke movement. He doesn't shit against the main narrative. At least what I have seen. He doesn't battle against maybe the Andrew Tate stuff is all wrong, but at least they're trying to do something. At least they're trying to bring change. Charlie plays games and gives commentary on stuff and tries to be funny. It's easy to be like that. Oh, no, it's not easy. It's hard to be Charlie, but it's easy to judge SNEAKO for his actions. I mean, I think Theodore Roosevelt said it best. It's easy to judge the gladiator in arena who who is full of dust and full of mistakes and who fails. And it's easy to sit in a chair and watch a football player and his misses and judge him. It's hard to be the football player and do those mistakes. But with that said, now I realize, well, SNEAKO needs someone like that who can, the opposite side maybe needs someone like that who can give the other perspective.
Yep.
So you can see, okay, what is a mistake here and what is true, so I can like improve myself.
There's truth in criticism.
Nice, beautiful.
Yeah, like for me, I know there's gonna be plenty of people clipping me, man. I'm gonna be in a position they're gonna be doing the same thing. They're gonna be talking shit, and I'm gonna watch it. Maybe I'll watch it, and whenever I see it, I'm gonna open my mind and see what I'm wrong about, and then I'm gonna see what they're wrong about. And obviously, your natural reaction to that criticism most of the time is more anger or whatever. But I'm gonna detach myself.
Yeah, I'm certain you will, as you grow, you will deal with that stuff, as SNEAKO does. I think you have the ability to, as you go along, to adjust to that. I mean, it will be hurtful,
Exactly.
but I think you have the ability.
And look at SNEAKO, man. It's not like he failed or anything. Like, he's actually bigger now. People might not realize that, but he is. He's bigger. And he just moved to Rumble. Now he has even more money from it because Rumble pays more, apparently.
Would you look at that?
That's what he said. He said he got paid more from Rumble than he did on YouTube. So that's why I moved stuff onto there too. I would love people to follow me on Rumble because it's free speech. They're not going to ban it. Honestly, buy Rumble stock. It's going to go up. Watch.
Yeah.
But that's all I got to say about SNEAKO. SNEAKO I think he's a really good guy. And I think that he has good intentions. And I didn't agree with a lot of the things he did whenever I was watching him. I had to stop for a while because it was more negative. I know he was trying to be positive, but it was just like he was constantly just talking bad about people all the time instead of just focusing on show the world what you want to see more of instead of what you want to see less of, So
yeah, exactly.
That's my thing, but I think he does that now. He's at a point he's matured a lot, and I like SNEAKO. I think that he's a good guy. So shout out to him, and that's why he hangs out with the people he hangs out with. Like, people don't let you in their circle for nothing, and to me that's proof, and it's gonna be proof. It's already proof enough. Like, look at who I talk to, even publicly on the podcast. I mean, you can see that we understood each other. Even me and you. It's just like-minded people. They talk to each other. So if he's talking to these people that are huge, such as Andrew Tate and such as, Luke Belmar, then they obviously have some sort of like mind.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's a nice connection.
Yeah, so the last thing for us, I did want to say, like, in a men and women dynamic, like I said, the women are men and the men are women nowadays here. I used to do like a lot of interviews, and I had one interview where like I would just talk to people on the street out here over at this college. I don't know if you know about college football, but there's this team called OU. And I actually live in Norman, Oklahoma, so I'm really close to them.
I see.
It's like 10 minutes away from me. It's a D1 school, so they've won championships and stuff. Basically, I'll go out there and talk to people with the microphone sometimes. One girl, it was a group of girls in line for the club, and I'm talking to them, and she's like, yeah, I wear the pants in the relationship. And I'm like, I like looked at them and I said, that's a bad relationship. And they got really mad and walked away like immediately. So it was pretty funny, but it's true. It's like, I was like, what? Any relationship with a girl wearing the pants and being the leader, I promise you it's not going to be good. Unless maybe lesbian relationship, one of them is going to have more masculine energy for that relationship to work. You can even look at that. It even has proof in that. Look at any successful lesbian relationship. And it's going to have a more manly woman, and then a woman that's more feminine. So that's proof enough. But I think it's crazy because they get it all wrong. The guy should be the leader. The guy should be the leader. And if he's not leading the woman towards where he wants to go because he's the leader, then it's a bad relationship to me. Or the guy needs to improve in some type of way. I just think that needs to be said more often. I wasn't taught this in school, man. No one taught me this. I had to learn this. I'm 23. How old are you, man? If you don't mind saying.
26.
Okay, so yeah, like I learned this stuff outside of school. They don't tell you any of this, and then you just kind of got to go figure it out on your own. And then a lot of people will deny it and argue with me.
Yeah, it's not respecting the laws of nature.
Exactly.
There are a few laws of nature that need to be respected.
True.
So yeah, if you don't follow the laws of nature, you'll die. Or not you'll die, but your seed will die.
Yeah, and
that's like if you don't follow the nature, you don't reproduce.
Nature always wins, bro.
Nature always wins. You can't against nature, man.
It's like a tsunami. We've been talking about them lately. It's the most powerful. It's like so powerful that you can't fight it. Like you either run or you die.
I've never been in one, but I heard.
It's insane. Like
you've been in one. Have you been?
No,
in one?
I haven't. No, but like I that would be crazy. But
I've been in an earthquake before. I've been in
me too. Me too. You can't fight it. It's just you gotta deal with it. And that's the thing is
acceptance.
You either work with the nature or you fight against it and die. So it's just like anything else. I really like human nature is always gonna be the same, and it goes into sales. It goes into everything you do. You learn the nature of a woman and why they think how they think, and when you actually break it down to primal nature, you start making sense of everything. How they used to be in like caveman days, it still translates to this day, and that's the last thing I think I got to say about that. It's just the man should be the leader, and you can't fight that. Yeah. It's true.
It's primal.
It's primal. People can argue all they want, but comment down below your opinion. I'm not gonna be mad at anyone. I want to be proven wrong sometimes. I say this often. I tell you what I believe so that you can tell me what you believe, and that way, maybe you just accelerate my mind and teach me something, or maybe whenever you tell me your opinion, I'm able to argue it, and then now you understand what I'm saying. It's all a learning process. The last thing I gotta say, man, just for to end it off, because I know we've spent a lot of time, but it was worth it. Do you have any books that you'd like to tell people to read? I always ask that.
Let me get a notebook.
And when are you gonna have that ebook done?
I need to edit it, and I want it to be good. I mean, it's kind of like even my brothers deals with depression, so I want to write it, to really to give it, to make it my good work, so I want to make it the next week, but I'll try my best you know, to make it sound good, to
Sweet.
make it good. I don't know. I'll try it next week, but let's see.
Well, whenever it's done, for anyone watching, I'm gonna drop it in the description of this video. So even if you're watching this maybe later on, if it's not there immediately after this drops, it'll be there later. So everyone else that's watching it later on, just check description. It'll probably be there.
Hey, thanks, man. I
No problem.
appreciate it. Okay. Well, sometimes when you read fiction, you understand parts of yourself. That's why I would. How many books should I recommend? Like,
Go ahead.
do you
There's
have?
3, 5.
Well, first off, I would recommend you the thing that we spoke about before, the Russian guy. But let me find the way. Transurfing. It's called Transurfing from Vadim Zelan. He's some sort of a Russian guy. Okay, I don't know to spell English words, so I won't even try. That's the first one. The second one, to get, it's a great American book, from a great American writer, Call of the Wild. It as fiction, you can learn stuff, and this will help you with that shadow stuff. You can see in the animal Call of the Wild.
Yeah, your animal side, I remember.
Your animal side. Call of the Wild, and this is for understanding female and femininity and masculinity. Let me Google. From David Deida, The Way of the Superior Man. This will help you understand the dynamics between the femininity and masculinity. Can I say one last word that I forgot to say before? Well, we mentioned Andrew Tate, Luke Belmar, SNEAKO, and we delved into SNEAKO a bit. But I wanted to also mention, how this woke movement, revolution is taken into a wrong way, into woke movement. This woke movement, blue hair and all that shit. Well, and you have these guys here, like even us too, Andrew Tate, SNEAKO, Belmar, Tristan Tate must have
underrated,
been
man.
mentioned.
Underrated. I love that guy, man. I swear.
Yeah,
that guy's amazing.
He gets too less praise, but man, he's a fucking warrior, and he's all the shit that Andrew ate, Tristan ate. So respect, man.
I respect
and all
those
those
guys.
fellas, and not only them, but David Deida, you have David Goggins, Andrew Huberman, Joe Rogan. I mean, all this, and even females, but I don't know their names, unfortunately, now. But all these are fighting to stir the revolution into the right way. So yeah.
Shout out Leia. Her name's Leia.
Yeah, Leia Haber.
I don't know how to say her last name personally.
Yeah, she's a British girl.
I think there's also this girl named Pearl or something, but also
yeah, the redhead.
Yeah, the redhead girl.
Yeah,
I think she is. Yeah.
They're both really pretty. I just want to maybe
shoot your shot, bro.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, okay. I mean, yeah. I think this is the right way. The woke movement is one way, and they try to change they want to change the outside. But these people, the David Goggins, the Tates, let's say
Jay Waller too.
Jay Waller, all these people, these help you. I mean, these people focus on self-improvement, right? These people focus on you working on yourself, which is your biggest enemy. Our biggest enemy is we ourselves, and this ties in with the parasites, right? The parasites eat you because you choose to drink alcohol, right? That's why the parasites get you and take your energy. So if you want to change the world, change yourself. And this is the right way, the self-improvement way. So if you don't know who to follow, find someone who tells you work on yourself, and not this guy is bad, this guy is bad, this guy is bad, nego I'm bad, this is my mistake. I need to work on that. This is the right way.
Also, if Jay Waller, you were watching this, man, I know you're born in Louisiana. Pull
Yeah,
up,
I think
man.
he's.
Pull up. Get on the pod, man. I
Let's
want you,
go.
any of you guys that I mentioned, all these people, I would love to have these guys on the podcast for sure. Jay Waller is one of the biggest, most influential people to me as well. And he's like a country guy that made it. So I respect that dude on another level. So, yeah, last thing you said the books. So just plug anything you want to plug.
Mm,
I already plugged your
yeah.
book, so the book is, well, what's the call? What is it called?
What is it? I mean, the title now is Defeating Depression.
Okay, I love it. All right. What else do you want to plug, man? You want to
What
plug
else
your
do I want to
Twitter?
plug? Well, Twitter is at Teodor Zrinski. And if you need some help with like depression and dealing with the inner suffering, shoot me a message on Twitter. And that's that. I don't have anything else to plug.
Sweet.
I'm really happy that you called me on this podcast. I learned a lot, and this was good. I was
Absolutely, bro. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you came on. Um, I guess I'm gonna do my plugs real quick, and it's basically, first of all, we got the Hurtful Truth merchandise at any time. Hit me up, and whatever I have available, I'll let you know. But it's mostly gonna be a very insider brand. It's the rich man's podcast. It's the wealthy man's podcast. That's what we are. So we're gonna have we only want to sell it to certain people. So if you hit me up, maybe you have to see if you qualify to even have it. Are you like-minded? Certain people that were just early to it, I might sell it to them anyway. But overall, I want it to be a symbol of like, if you have this, then you know this logo or this type of brand on you, then you know that person is like-minded to the rest of us. It's like a movement. Hurtful Truth, man. So hit me up. Well, at Hurtful Truth with an X instead of the U in truth. You know, just hit it up on Instagram or something. Doesn't matter. DM us. Other than that, we got partnered by this water filter company. It actually filters out fluoride. What'd you say?
Do you have the product here?
All right. Yeah. This is it.
Wow.
So it's a water filter dispenser. It actually filters out fluoride. Not just fluoride, but you ever heard of fluoride before?
Yes.
Okay, so you know exactly it calcifies your pineal gland. Basically, what that means is it closes your mind. And they used to, actually, the Nazis used to use it. That's when it was introduced into the water supply. The Nazis used it to keep people docile and like work just like slaves and not think out of the box. They put that in 90% of our water supply as well. Isn't that crazy? So we filter that out with this, and all these other water filters, they don't really do that, man. There's only super expensive ones. I did research because, you know, I didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted to find an affordable water filter. And I found that company, and that company is incredible. That's why I partnered with them. They got water bottles that filter water. These filters don't just filter fluoride, but like a lot of other contaminants like microplastics and metals that are in all of your water. Really bad stuff. They even put estrogen in the water. They keep the estrogen in the water. They don't filter that part out.
The filter keeps the estrogen in the water, right?
Not this filter. The way that they filter water, like the water supply, like the government and the people in charge,
Okay.
they keep estrogen in the water, and it's horrible because that's why men are getting more feminine, because the estrogen is the feminine hormone. Like we have testosterone, that's more of a masculine hormone, and they have the estrogen, and they keep that in the water from like women's urine and stuff like that. It's so messed up, man. There's a lot of things they don't filter out, and I remember I would drink tap water and my throat would hurt. I needed a filter, so I got a filter, and the filter was better, but it was only filtering out carbons. That's Brita water filters. I do not like them, so I will talk shit about Brita for the rest of my life. I had one, and it's just like they only filter like 80%, maybe 60% of the carbon out of the water. It's not even that good. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that it's not that good. And that's only like one chemical out of all of the contaminants. I looked it up. There's a website where you can look up how many contaminants and what contaminants are in your water. We had 14 in our water supply here that are horrible for you. So we got that, and they're not even that expensive. Use code HTPOD at epicwaterfilters.com. They got pitchers, they got dispensers, they got stuff. They even have the thing you can put on your shower water supply to filter the water in your shower. The water is absorbing into your skin. And then we have the ones you can put on your faucet, stuff like that. It's pretty insane. Shout out them. HTPod is the code that you use for 20% off, which is more than you even get if you sign up for the newsletter and everything. That's really all I gotta say. Yeah, man, that's all I gotta say. I'm just trying to, I only partner with companies I truly believe in. Shout out to them. Appreciate them for partnering. That's all I gotta say, man. I appreciate you coming on, man, giving your perspectives. Maybe we'll do it again in another 6 months or a year or something.
Okay. To trash more LGBTQ, to trash more woke movement.
Yeah. Just to spread hate, good. That's why we're here, right? I'm just joking.
Yeah, to spread hate.
No,
to shit on someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, man. We're just trying to spark conversations. So, yeah, thank you for watching. To everyone that's watching, thank you for listening. To everyone that's listening, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I might eventually be on Amazon Podcasts, but I don't know how. I haven't done it yet. We'll probably be live, like I said, on Twitter Spaces for the rest of them. Sometimes, at least, we'll do some Twitter Space podcast live on top of this. So at Cryptical Karma on Twitter, I'll just finally integrate it. Why not? I mean, I was promoting the podcast through that anyway. So, all right, man. Then I'm gonna end the recording. Thank you, everyone, again. So, peace.